Hi, it's Nicole, and today I want to talk about the good old TBR. I recently watched a video by Books by Leynes, and she talked about the TBR and the benefits of having a small TBR, and I am really in alignment with her thoughts about TBRs. And actually, since I started my bullet journal in October of 2016, one of the first things I did in that was to write a list of the books that I own that I haven't read yet and that I would like to get through so that I could pretty much eliminate my unread books in my house. I would prefer to have no unread books in my house if I could. I don't think that that's possible for me, probably, but I am perfectly fine with donating a book that I haven't read, that I bought ages ago and that no longer interests me. And after watching the video by Books by Leynes, I was re-energized to kind of try to get through or donate, whether or not I've read them, all of the unread books on my shelves at the moment. I'd rather read them all than just get rid of them, and I feel like that will take me a long time because I'm a slow reader and I'm an easily distracted reader, which is also probably why I read several books at the same time. So the first thing I've done is I've made a list of all of the books, or most of the books that I own currently but haven't read yet. And that ends up coming to about 45 books, though some of those books I think I'm probably just going to donate without having read them or ask friends if they want them. I think this will actually be quite a long-term project for me because it does actually come in conflict with my goals to diversify my reading, and the reason for that is I've had a lot of these books on my shelves for years, and I've had them on my shelves since before I was really considering who the authors were I was reading. So that's kind of annoying to me because even though I think it could potentially take me a year or less to get through all of my unread books if I were really trying at it, I don't see myself strictly sticking to what that plan would require. So I don't know, I think just going forward I'm probably going to have to accept that my reading will be shifted less diversely than I'd like as I'm trying to eliminate these books from my shelves. Like I said, I would like to have no books unread on my shelves, and part of the reason for that is I think it's so easy to find more books that you want to read, and buying them is just so much easier than actually getting through the reading of them. So it's not as though I would ever have a moment where I think, oh my gosh, I really want to read something in this group and I don't have anything on my shelves. I would probably just go visit my local bookshop or buy an ebook or get a book delivered to my house within the next few days, and that would be fine. So I don't see there being any kind of crisis from not having unread books in my house. All of that to say, I feel like if I maybe announce this rather than just secretly writing it down as a list for myself, maybe that will push me more to be accountable to myself and to anyone who's watching this video to really try to focus on reading my unread books. I think last year I kind of tried to do the thing where I read 5 books from my shelves before buying one, and that was going really well at first, and then it just fell off, unfortunately. And I'm gonna really try to do that again this year, maybe. I will see how well that goes. I think another thing that will pose a problem to this challenge of mine is the fact that I'm part of a virtual book club now, and obviously I have to get the books for that aren't necessarily going to be on my shelves already, and I have decided that I'm only going to participate when I can actually get those books used, unless I'm really, really, really wanting to read that specific book club book. But that's my criteria personally for my participation in the book club. I have to be able to source it used, and that's for several reasons, but it does mean I will probably be acquiring new to me books throughout the year, and I need to be balancing that with this challenge for myself to whittle down my physical TBR. I'm going to try in my wrap-ups maybe to have a bit of a progress report on that, or maybe when I'm mentioning the books that I've read in the month I can say which ones were from my TBR, which ones were new or new to me, and that will hopefully get me to really focus on that actual goal this year. That's all really. I wanted to put that out there, mostly for myself, and I would be curious to find out what other people think about TBRs and having lots of unread books or very few unread books. I get the impression that most people like the idea of having lots of unread books on their shelves, and sometimes I wonder if that's partly defensive because the idea of tackling that and getting that number down is very intimidating. It certainly is intimidating to me, and admitting the desire to, but knowing how difficult that task will be is maybe something that a lot of people are uncomfortable with, so they just say that they prefer the having of the many books. But then I think some people are genuinely excited by the prospect of having all of these unread books right before their fingertips, and they can just reach out to the bookshelf and pick just about any book, and they know that they haven't read it yet, and that can be an exciting prospect maybe. But it would be interesting to hear your perspective on unread books, because I'm sure that you all have lots of different ideas about the pros and cons, and we can discuss that in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!